And we're back. Dominic is your boy Hank. Welcome to part 3. My note application completely lagged, and I was trying to be a champion that knows what he's doing, which I'm clearly not, because I closed the entire, not phone, but the entire screen, and because we closed the entire screen, we lost a couple of things. We're back with Dexter, episode 7 of season 5. We got Illuminant and Dexter, right? Joint life both. Joint life. Okay. Horribly written, but I can still get into the mind of Vendetta, the genius, or the village idiots. I don't know how you want to call it. I prefer genius, please. Thank you. And yeah, we have Lumen and Dexter joint life, but they're basically living together, right? And they're sharing a lot, and it's such a weird thing. It's like Lumen is this lost soul, and Dexter is kind of the shepherd to this lost sheep. But in itself, Dexter is a lost sheep. See, the crazy thing is, Dexter, the absolute crazy thing is, because before Dexter found Lumen, he was completely lost, right? And because he found Lumen, he was able to kind of come back, right? And we don't know if it's because he's helping Lumen or is healing. Because again, there's no continuity. There's no, oh well, the week passed, a month passed, we don't know. Both possibly going after, right, kill. Dexter's enjoying life, right, which is kind of cool, right? Lumen is still a prisoner, so basically she's having some Amazon package, which is a nice version of capitalistic. And it's good to know that even in a serial killer novel, capitalistic still have a hold on each and everybody, right? So she's ordering something from Amazon. Just like Dexter's like, "Yo, you getting shit shipped here, bruh?" And she's like, "Yeah, I need stuff," which is right, but there's no boundary put here. Dexter doesn't trust her to go out, but Lumen doesn't care about what Dexter's want, which is ultimately what leads Lumen to do what she does. But then it's ultimately why Dexter kind of likes her, because she doesn't follow the rule, and he doesn't follow the rule either. So prisoner, it worked. The barrel had been moved. So in season 5, episode 1, we find out that Boyd had a lot of barrel in which he hid the body. And the bodies, we found 12 barrels, which means there were 12 victims, which is confirmed much later on by the police station. And like, yo, there was 12 victims, right? No, there was 13. The 13th was Lumen. Ergo, there's missing one body. Ergo, she's possibly still alive. Ergo, if she's alive, where is she? We don't know. Which actually plays a big part in the story later on. The barrel that didn't work, right? Move, which means that people know about the situation. When I wrote people know about the situation, it also puts a timeline. See, Dexter, because again, there's no pacing in the show. Dexter say, "I'm gonna heal Lumen. I don't know how much I'm gonna take, but I'm gonna heal Lumen." Now, the police discovering the barrel start the investigation, right? And when they start the investigation, we have a time now, right? People know about the situation. Enter Jordan Chase, the beautiful thing. It's possibly one of the best killer we had so far. And I know what you're saying, dude. Better than the Trinity killer. Hear me out. And the first killer of the season, we have Boyd, which is a serial killer, right? Killed 12 body. He wasn't alone, right? My apologies. But in the second one, we see, and he was listening to a album, which is Jordan Chase. Who is Jordan Chase? That's actually a quick question. Jordan Chase is your typical alpha male, typical guru, typical investor, typical spokesperson that's gonna say, "Yo, go after life, fuck everybody else, fuck the haters, go." Right? And he's possibly linked to the killing, because two of these people that were killed had links with Jordan Chase, right? So like, okay, well, maybe he's involved, right? And it's funny because this is one of the first time where the police actually have something on Dexter. They actually have something on, well, maybe he's a bad guy, maybe he is, you know? The most important killer, why? Because, see, he is one of the most important killer in a very simple way. Let's go back in time. I shot killer. One person, but he had a copycat. Let's go with the Lena romance killing, which is pretty hot. Third one, we had Miguel who taught just like Dexter, right? I'm gonna kill for justice. However, just like Dexter, he didn't want to be found out, right? Number 4, we have the Trinity Killer. Trinity Killer was able to have 30 years of killing with only Lundy being aware of the situation, which is actually pretty good. Now, Jordan Chase, if he's able to inspire people to kill, now that's an important killer. There's an important notion of a killer, a leader killer, which we don't see. A killer with a cult, a killer with followers, and a killer that can bring to birth. I don't know if that sounds okay, but a killer that can see a lot of other killers being born, right? Plus infiltration of the pub. We have the a investigation of the pub. One of the most important shots. Once again, the killer takes an hostage, and once again, it's Deb that's there, and it's kind of fucked up because Deb was told you did a good job by not shooting, and this time she's actually shoot at the killer, and guess what? She succeeded at the shot. She's able to succeed at the shot. She takes down the killer. Nobody's hurt except for the asshole, right? But then she gets into a problem, right? But it's still cool because she missed doing that the first time. So we're seeing a growth from Deb, and a growth is not always gonna be positive. A growth is also like you didn't kill somebody that needed to be killed, but now you killed it, so you're doing good, right? So up to interpretation, I guess. We got Lagerta and Deb fighting. The Lagerta and Deb fighting is actually kind of cool, kind of interesting. So the Lagerta is more so follow the code, more so paper, more so. Well, you killed the killer, but you killed him in a public place. A lot of people saw it, and a lot of people were gonna remember it. But Deb is more so. Well, he was gonna kill either way, and possibly just save a bunch of people, right? And without saying necessarily, where's my medal? Where's my fucking medal, right? Just saying. We got the show where it's very graphic. Fuel surrounded by killer. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. We skip a little bit. We got the Dexter that goes to a Jordan show, right? Show where it's very graphic, right? And I said fuel, but I meant full, in full, which is French for a crowd. The brilliant mind of a dumbass. So it goes to a show, and then the show, there's a lot of graphics, design of animal killing each other, and they're kind of showing strength. They're showing strength in nature, so they're showing predator, right? But when you say predator, you say prey. Or if you talk about Ink or Einstein Kill, you talk about the predator. The prey becomes the predator. Predator becomes prey, which is one of the best album, right? Before Fable, before Silver Stream, which arguably is one of their best album. So come on, in red. I miss Einstein Kill for reals. They became a bit mainstream. And I was like, ugh. They're not the cool band that I knew. What I mean by that is by showing that the predator are always going to be on top of the food chain, which is the truth. You're also showing killing, and by showing killing, a lot of people that are very influenceable could believe that, okay, well, if I kill, I'm the predator. Not predator, I'm strong. If I'm strong, the world is mine, which is not the truth, surprisingly. Lumen X come back. So it's kind of funny because Lumen X come back, and Lumen X coming back is like, yo, you have a chance with normal life. You have a chance with a life of going away. And it's kind of funny because there's something I didn't tell you. There's a letter that is really changing the mind of Dexter. So in the beginning, Dexter had this hostage, and she doesn't know what to do. And then he find out that she has a letter, and he reads the letter, and you realize in the letter that Lumen is a victim of circumstances. She didn't choose to be there. She was there visiting somebody. She was on a vacation. She was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. She has a life. She still has a life, right? And Dexter's like, she knows who I am, but I'll make her go away. She won't ever have a comeback, which makes me kind of safe. I'm one guy out of a billion person. I'm one guy with whom you know the face, you know the name, but you don't know what I do. You don't know where I live. You don't know where you are. You know that you're in Miami, but you're in an apartment, not my real house, right? Which is once again what's going on. So the ex coming back is like, yo, wanna come back? And for Lumen, she's like, Lumen had a chance to go back, but because she didn't want to, she wanted vengeance. She didn't. But then she has to choose between love and vengeance, and she shows violence. She shows revenge, but it's still nice to know that she had the past life, and her past life still means something to her. See, it's kind of cool because we see Dexter as this almost born killer. He was very young when he wanted to start killing, right? But then you see Lumen, and she's like, no, Lumen never chose that life. Lumen was always one of the person that decided, yo, I don't want to be part of it. I don't want to kill, right? Because nobody wants to kill. But then she wants to take vengeance, and vengeance is different than killing. Once she killed the people that did that to her, would she start killing? Would she stop killing? We don't know, but we have a good idea that she would. We have the vengeance, the secret investigation come much closer. Right? The secret investigation, I don't know what I meant by that because there's two investigations going on. So the secret investigation, and I understand exactly what I meant. So the secret investigation is, once again, now Quinn is kind of fucked. He thinks that Dexter is a killer, and you can say that, oh, Quinn is dirty, but he's still a cop. And if Dexter's a killer, he has to stop him, right? So he being a private investigator. No, the private investigator is a pussy move, is because he knows that he wants to spend time with Deb, and you know that if Deb find out that he's looking for her brother, right, as a killer, she'll leave him. So selfishly, he's like, yo, I want the cake and I want to eat it too. So I want the cake, which is Deb, booty, and I want the cake and I want to eat it too, which is getting Dexter Morgan, his nemesis. It's Darth Plagueis to this Qui-Gon Jinn. And he's like, yo, one stone, two bird, right? That's an expression too, I guess. It's an expression in French. Hello. Come closer. And what is kind of cool is the special investigator realized that Dexter is shady as fuck. Now, the beautiful narratively speaking thing that happened is the special investigator is crooked too. He takes the food out of Quinn's fridge. He drinks his alcohol, which is like, yo, you're crossing a boundary. And because the guy's kind of an asshole, Quinn is like, yo, you're an asshole. Dexter's an asshole, but you're an asshole too. The answer to an asshole is not another asshole, right? So like, fuck you. But the reality is, the private investigator kind of confirmed what Quinn was thinking. Dexter is shady. We don't know how shady he is until we do. We got Lumen, who's assisting Dexter ritual, right? And it's kind of cool, but she has trauma. So Dexter is like, yo, you want to take the kill? And the reason, and it's very nicely narratively put together. So Dexter kind of need the killing to heal himself, to have like a desire, a need, a physical need to kill, right? And then there's a part of me that wants to believe that he offers a kill to Lumen because he thinks that if he gave her the kill, she'll be healed. There's another part of me that believes that the reason why he doesn't want to do the kill is because he knows it's not going to serve a purpose. So I think Dexter thinks that by healing Lumen, he's going to heal himself, and he thinks that by letting her kill that guy, she'll heal him. She'll heal her. Now, in the mind of Dexter, it does sound like a crazy plan, but the mind of Dexter, he became a killer via trauma, right? Via the container full of blood. Lumen became a killer via drama. So if it healed him, why wouldn't it heal her, you know? It's hard to say. That's trauma more of Jordan, right? It's kind of cool because we have more of Jordan, and by that is Dexter goes at his second time, but this time he aims at Rita. And why is that a problem is because Jordan, ultimately speaking, right, takes Dexter as a pupil, right? He takes Dexter as a pupil the way he took Boyd and the other killer in his group as pupil. He sees something dark in Dexter. He wants to exploit it to become another killer, right? Now, Dexter speaking, right? There's intent, there's no action. The intent is discovering more about Dexter, which he finds out about Rita, which means he knows exactly who Dexter is. He has connection. The no action is like, I don't think you're a killer. I don't think you're going to go against me. So I will not go against you, right? Because I won't go against you, there's nothing to fear here. Which is pretty much it. The higher up, the side that is to blame, The higher up is the boss of Lagata. Is saying, so there's a possibility, right? Where we're talking about how the promising cop was the one I was gonna get blamed. Now, technically speaking, it's kind of like a dirty move, but it's kind of an understandable move. The dirty cop and the hierarchy and the grading and the I think hierarchy is the perfect word. And the importance in the eyes of the department, she's lower than Deb. Because she's lower than Deb, so it's Lagata, Deb, and the police officer. Since the police officer is at the bottom, she's the scapegoat. She did it, right? But then it's like, no, Deb is the guilty one. And the problem here is, you know that this is Lagata. And you know that she had something to do with it. But the reality is, Lagerta, since Deb did the killing, Deb came for Lagerta pretty hard. She was like, yo, I did the right thing. You know I did the right thing. You're just too afraid of the consequences, but you would have done the... She said, I don't remember exactly what she said, but it's along the line of, you know that's the right thing to do. And the fact that you wouldn't have done it says more about you as a kind of like a politician than a cop, right? And also what is beneath the line, or between the line, whatever you want to call it, one of the biggest problems in the wedding of Lagerta and Angel is Angel see Deb as... See, there's a really beautiful scene here. There's a really cool scene here. And I believe it's in this episode, but I'm not sure, right? We got Angel, right? Who, Deb, she gets transferred to the department. And she kind of get, not necessarily fired, but she's like, no, you're not a cop anymore. You're not a lieutenant. You're working desk, right? And you got Angel who comes to her. And he's like, yo, no matter what, I'm going to try to get you back your shield. And Debbie's like, you're so nice to me. Why are you doing that? And Angel says, you're like my kid's sister. Which, ultimately speaking, is actually really sweet. It's really sweet, but I'm not sure how I should take it. So it's really sweet because since day one, and I can vouch for it. You can personally take me for responsible for this. You can take me accountable for saying this. Since the very beginning of the show, Angel has been super supportive of Deb. He's been very supportive. Now, I believe some part of it is because he likes he likes Dexter, and because he likes Dexter like a brother, it's like, it's like he don't fuck bro's sister. Not necessarily because she's his sister, but because you guys are so close. It's kind of weird. You kind of see her as your own sister, right? Kind of weird. And I'm not judging, but I'm just saying. And so yeah, so I feel like Angel treats Deb as a sister because he's so close to Dex. But it could also be, since the very beginning, he has her back. He could also see her as his younger sister. Now later on, we learn that he has a younger sister. And see, people like that, okay, people like that, father, mother, older brother, older sister, they will often do that. They will often see other kids that remind them of their younger sister, younger sibling, or kids, and say, yeah, I remember my kids being like that, and that's why I'm going to protect you, or I'm going to help you out, right? Which is, again, I think it's like a parenting instinct, or, yeah, parenting instinct actually pretty good. For the club fiasco, but Angel come to back up Deb, right? Which is cool. It's really sweet, really sweet moments. At 9, let's get closer to Jordan, and this is kind of a problem to pacing. So in this episode, we got Jordan that says, yo, to Dexter, yo, I can help you, bro. And Dexter's like, okay, how can you help me? And then the other episode, the very next one, right? The very next one come as Dexter being in the chamber with Jordan, and they're both running up on treadmills. They're next to each other. So ultimately speaking, it makes sense because Dexter used to be a cable show. Cable show often meant an episode, next episode. So there's a week. And because there's a week, you're like, oh yeah, I remember they were going to help each other. And it kind of makes sense. But when you're watching it, when you binge watching it, it seems to go fast. And it does seem like we're missing some information. But ultimately speaking, does it matter to know why he's running treadmill? How did he get there? Or you can say, well, Jordan said I was going to help you, and this is the help he meant. And I think this is the help he meant. Dexter, by doing a research on Jordan, discovered a blood pendant. And he knows it's blood, right? And because he knows it's blood, he's able to say, okay, well, he's a killer, right? And he's also able to identify the blood. So what is kind of cool by identifying the blood is if Dexter, because once again, we got the barrel that moves, right? Narratively speaking, we're doing good. the barrel that were removed. Because the barrel that were removed, well, there's a possibility, there's a very slight but very present possibility that Dexter has access to the blood of the victim. And if the blood of the victim coincide or match the blood independent, then Jordan is involved. If it doesn't match, then it's another possible victim, right? The problem is Dexter takes a little bit of the blood, and Jordan understands and took a bit of the blood. So this is possibly because Jordan is very smart, or possibly because Dexter made a mistake. Now, I want to think that Dexter made a mistake. I don't think that Dexter made a mistake because he's focusing on Lumen. Why I want to think that? Because I want to think as Dexter as a flawed person versus the character that been shown to be perfect in every single season. The lab, right? We have Rita's daughter, right? Which is I don't remember her name. Aster. Right. She went back to the apartment, and ultimately speaking, the very first episode, like this episode for me was a bit weaker because you have the daughter of Rita coming back, Aster, and she's causing problem, and she's again blaming Dexter for what happened to her mom, which is actually normal because she's mourning, but it's normal, but at the same time with something that we've already seen, and because it's something that we already seen, you're like, okay, bro, move on. But at the same time, it's a kid. She's dealing with it, right? And yes, Rita was dead. It's a questionable thing to do because the whole season we kind of not necessarily forget, but there's no communication between the kids of Rita and Dexter. So like, they're still there, but you don't expect them to come back. Now, Alistair, the reason why it's cool that she is the one that's back is Cody never was angry at Dexter, and Dexter had to fix the bridge with Aster, and so that's kind of cool that she's the one, right? She's a team. It's we got Debs who's trying to help out, but Aster, she's a mess. She's drinking. She has a friend, and actually a really cool moment. There's a really cool ending to this episode, but the build up is so slow. We have Debs that switched departments, right? It's good because she learned her friend is being abused. Okay, sorry, I kind of fucked that up. She switched departments, which basically leads her to be an archive. And archive is actually one of Dev's specialty. We know that for a fact. So possibly could pick up something or dig up some information to get back into the good graces of the department, right? We have the friend of Aster, who the one she was drinking with, and we realize that she's being abused, and her dad is the one abusing her. Now, why is that important? Is actually really important. So by the dad abusing her, right, we understand that Aster was just trying to protect, right? So Aster was trying to be the defiant one. And it's kind of fucked up, okay? What I'm going to say is actually really fucked up. What I'm going to say is disgusting, but I have to say it, right? I'm 31 years old. Now, I'm not a father, right? I'm not a father. But, for example, right, my kids start to act out, and I believe that he's acting out because he's friends with this other kid. And this other kid, I know he acts out. Now, there's a possibility that the bad influences or the bad apple in the friendship is my kid. It's almost a relief to know that it's the friend of Aster that's the problem. But since it's the friend of Aster, then Aster is doing the right thing. Because she's doing the right thing, we are kind of happy. But it's kind of disgusting because we're happy that Aster is not a good person. But we're also happy because another person is getting abused, which sucks. We learn that her father is a abusive. It hits Dex, right? Papa side. I wrote Papa side because I thought it was funny. And we have him beat up the father. Now, ultimately speaking, it's not the first time that Dexter beat up someone. Dexter beat up Elliot, which was the neighbor. Elliot beats up. He beats up the one who was breaking away. The one who was causing damage to properties and the neighborhood when he first moved in with Rita. We also had him being physical with like a bunch of people, right? And in this one, it's kind of cool because it's Dexter. Like, don't trust Dexter. Dexter will kill criminals, but civilian Dexter will actually hit people that deserves it. So kind of see that it's kind of cool that we're getting that, and it's kind of cool because he feels. I don't know if it's cool because that's his papa side or that's because she's a fan of his daughter, so he feels responsible for her. I don't know. Beat up to try to help Aster, but it's hard, right? Because he's trying to help out Aster, but the problem with Aster is she doesn't want to listen to him, and Aster doesn't want to listen to him because it's not a real dad. But Aster is also in a position where Dexter is also in a position where he's not that good with kids. He's not that good with teenager, right? And Aster's like, no, fuck you, I'm not gonna tell. And Dexter's like, oh fuck, what do I do, right? After it's hard. Deb goes after La Gerta, right? It goes after La Gerta and saying that she was wrongfully terminated. She had something against her the whole time, and there was some rivalry between La Gerta and Debs. So it does make sense. And then Quinn acts as a good boyfriend, and he's telling Deb, no, bro, she's not against you. She suspended me too. And then Deb's like, why were you suspended? And Quinn lets out a problem, right? It's a problem because he lets out, because I thought your brother was a killer. The way he said it, it's like, I'm stupid, but Deb's like, no, fuck you, dude. My brother is not a killer. So yeah, so that's the end of the relationship between Quinn and Deb, right? We have the piece between Dex and Aster, which is actually kind of cool because we see Aster saying, hey, come and see Cody, which is ultimately Aster serving a role of, I believe in you, I forgive you, we're good. It serves a purpose, but we don't know if we're going to see those two again, Cody and Aster. And if we don't see them again, then it doesn't serve a purpose. And if we do see them again, then it serves a good purpose. So I guess it's kind of up to the viewer to choose, right? 10, they move in on Jordan. So what they do is they move in on Jordan, they bring him to the office, and Jordan's like, no, it doesn't happen. But there's a moment here, which is actually really, really, really cool, where Jordan goes after Dexter and say, yo, I know that you know, but I know that you know I'm going to go after you, right? And then Dex is like, okay, well, fuck you, we're on. But the both of them, they have to act like, no, we're not really trusting each other, although it's intended. And I think both parties understand that they're actually going after each other. And now what is interesting is, there's a couple of things that's interesting. The one that was going, Dexter always had like this person going after him. Like in this first season, it was his brother who knew who Dexter was or what he was. We have Layla, who knew what Dexter was. And then we had Miguel, who knew what Dexter was. And then we have Archer, who at the end knew what Dexter was, right? So all of this serves a purpose of, okay, well, it's repeated, but there's a small difference. There's a big small difference. So the big small difference is actually quite simple. Sorry, I'm doing the tower because it's more important. See, the big difference is now he's involved with Lumen. So before it was mano y mano, man versus man, but now it's like, no, I got a team. The problem is Jordan also had a team. So what is kind of cool is they went into Boyd, right? And then they found out 12 disc, which is horrible. So what happened was people were filming what they were doing to their victim, and they were kind of filming what they did to Lumen. And we know by Lumen, not necessarily story, but her witness report, I guess, that they were raping the girls, they were torturing the girls. So we see that in disc, and it's disgusting. And the problem is, right, they're shooting disc. There's 12 victims. So by knowing that one of those victims isn't found or isn't dead, we think that she might be the one that survived, and she might be looking for vengeance, right? Which is actually, the second they know that's Lumen, she's fucked. However, so you'll be so right when you tell me, hey, Lumen was a tourist. She didn't have to go. She possibly isn't even on any register. Well, that's not true. There's one person that knows about Lumen. The one person that knows about Lumen is the private investigator. Right? Now, there's a big disadvantage. There's a huge disadvantage. Dexter knows about Jordan. Dexter knows that Jordan is going after him. Doesn't know that the private investigator goes after him. That's bad. The discs are brutals. Lumen find a victim and interview. She find another victim. So the problem is with that victim. She has an interview, but that victim was years and years ago, and she survived. But they did something bad to her. They kind of raped her. They kind of tortured her, but they didn't kill her. So it was like the genesis of, it was possibly the first victim, right? We find another one of George's homie, right? We have more of an inspection. The other one of his homie is the guy that works at the bank. The guy that works at the banks has fucking trophies. And guess what? We find out the trophies. We find Lumen trophy, which is the proof that he's one of them. And he swear that he doesn't have any problem. Now, the problem with this one, and I know this is gonna sound wrong. Boyd, nobody gives a shit, right? The second one, nobody gave a shit. But this guy actually has a family, actually has a wife. So now you're like, okay, well, guess what? Those people are gonna miss him, right? And that's pretty much it. Jordan Linter victim talked. So the victim, the old victim, she tells everything to Debs. She doesn't tell Dexter, but she tells to Debs. See, which is kind of cool because now you could think that, okay, well, Debs possibly has a step above Dexter because she has a victim, but Dexter also has a victim. Now she's not the old victim, but she is a victim, and it's Lumen, right? Makes sense. Makes sense. Cool. Glad that we can agree. Victim. We're more moving into Jordan, but now Jordan know that Dex is shady. It was intended that Jordan knew that Dexter was shady, but it was proven again with this scene of them going together. We have Lumen initiation, right? Intro to the first kill, and it's kind of cool because the preparation is the same. She's wearing the same outfit as Dexter, which is kind of cool. There's a really weird romantic moment, right? Where they're going into a Piers on a date, and Dexter, he wants to buy her something, a jewelry. She's like, no, that's not my type. And then he wants to buy her a knife. And she's like, oh yeah, I like this one. Which is actually kind of weird. Listen, I have nothing against Lumen, but it does feel a little bit like she's trying to emulate Dexter. It feels a bit forced. With Layla, it was, oh, she's fucking crazy. Lumen, it's more like, oh, well, Dexter is a killer, and I like Dexter, so I'm going to be a killer too, right? Feel like that. We have the banker, right? The banker kills. Jordan calls Debs. So it's funny because Jordan calls Debs into the killer house, knowing that the banker is the next one. So the banker calls Jordan and said, yo, they know. And then Jordan, who's a fucking mastermind, tells the next person, the possible next victim, say, no, stay here. You look shady. But in reality, he leaves his friend as bait. You know that Dexter will go after the bait. So by doing that, he goes into the house and he calls the police. And then because he called the police, he don't have the time to clean, right? To realize everyone is killed. Desus, I don't know why I wrote Desus. Okay, cool. So they realized that everybody that there were 13 victims versus 12 victims because they find again the trophy case. And they say who was the 13 killer, and then it's Masuka that says if there's a killer out there, she might be linked to all of these killings because now there's 3 killings that were directly linked with each other. And again, it's so cool because the direct link is Jordan, so they know that Jordan is somehow involved. They cannot prove his involvement. Okay, the killer is the victim, does not know Lumen is victim, but the private eye do. Exactly. That's pretty much it. That is pretty much it. Anyway, I love you guys. Take it easy. Peace.